Hello, gentle viewers, and welcome to another episode of Alistair Reviews It. And today we're reviewing the 7th episode of WandaVision.
And this is your spoiler warning. We do spoilers every episode, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it was Agatha all along. It was Agatha all along. We'll get to that, but I'm shooketh.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's talk about how short this episode was. I am getting very, very, I'm loving these episodes. I'm not going to say I'm not loving these episodes, but these episodes are just, ending way too short. At first it was a little funny, but, now I'm like, come on.
I thought that they were going to be, at least to the last 3 episodes, were going to be, 45 minutes. I don't know why I thought that, but, I have a feeling they're all going to be about 30 minutes long. So, it's probably where we're headed.
Yeah, because you have all these people waking up at 3 a.m., in bed.
Oh, my gosh.
And then watching this stuff.
The only reason we're doing this at 5 a.m., that we're waking up at 5 a.m. to watch this and stuff like that, is because by the time we get on Twitter and all that, everybody's already tweeting out their WandaVision spoilers. And then you can mute as many words as you can, but you're still going to run into these spoilers because people wake up their asses up at 3 a.m. and by 4 a.m. there's spoilers everywhere. So
I swear, if I didn't have a normal work structured life, I would probably do the same thing,
Crazy. I don't know.
And then just go back to bed. But speaking about in bed, that's where we find Wanda.
Yeah, Wanda in the beginning of this episode is kind of... So I think it's been established that Wanda every night resets everything and resets the house. She resets, the clothing, the decade, everything. And she did kind of do that here for this episode, but now her powers are glitching and everything is decade hopping, the milk decade hops, and her clothes she's still on the clothes from
the last
episode, her Halloween outfit. Everything is painting this picture that Wanda is depressed, she is out of sorts, and so her magic is depressed and out of sorts as well. And even Westview it's raining in Westview, and that's,
which isn't normal.
Established that it doesn't do that, and so
it's funny because I'm not sure whether the reason for this is because she expanded the hex, and her powers are kind of out of sorts because they're spread over so much space and time, or whether this is because Vision's not there and she's out of sorts because of that, or a combination of those two. And you can tell that her and Vision don't have this. In this episode, she's very much hey, I can't force your father to be here. I'm going to, I did wrong. I'm going to take a time out today. I'm just going to stay here and eat cereal.
She called it a quarantine staycation, which I did not need to hear. That's so...
It's what we've been doing for the last week.
It's the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, with the cereal and...
It's crazy. And so I think it could be a combination of the two, because... I think she's realizing that this world that she built, it doesn't matter how much you try to build this perfect world, the perfect world doesn't exist. And so, while she has created this version of Vision, and she's having Vision walk around and stuff like that, he still will have a mind of his own, and she can't really control that. But Wanda's just depressed, and there's even even the commercial for the episode. It's all about depression, and it's a commercial that we've all seen on every and every commercial break. On any network, there's a commercial for a depression medication, and this one is for Nexus. We'll get into what Nexus means a little bit later, but it's Wanda's depressed,
It's definitely the theme of the episode.
Yeah.
And then we have her trusty friend and ally, Agnes, come by to take the kids so that Wanda can have a day off.
Well, Pietro's gone now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so, Pietro's gone. Imposter Pietro, which I want to say that I called. I called it.
Lots of people called it, baby.
Yes, but I was one of them.
Agnes does come by, and she's we were getting more of this setup about her and the twins, and she's got some sort of fixation on these twins, and so
yeah, because she takes them out, and she takes them, I think, for PB&J or something at her house, while Wanda just wants to chillax and watch some news that keeps on changing TVs or whatever.
And it's just so I have to admit, at the beginning of this episode, I was freaking Agnes. I'm so sick of trying to guess what Agnes is doing at this point. By episode 7, I'm ready to know what Agnes is, who Agnes is. Yeah, and so we do get that answer by the end of the episode. But I was when I saw Agnes walk in, I rolled my eyes. I was like, I'm so done with her.
No, I love any Agnes scene. I love any Agnes scene.
I love her, but I'm so over like the mystery of Agnes, you know.
Well, I also really like the intro. I thought it was going to be more of a Modern Family intro, but it was the Office intro, and I loved it. But we see throughout the intro it was Wanda, 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 and at the end it was Wanda Vision. Yeah. So it kind of like also details the fact that Vision isn't really part of the episode portion of this episode, as much as he was before.
Well, Vision's on a quest to get answers. He's like on his own little quest, and Wanda is alone, and she feels alone, and she feels like she's even like a single parent. And she even has a conversation with the twins, like, and she sits them down, and she's like, "Your dad, if he didn't want to be here, then he doesn't have to be here." It's kind of a dark scene, and she's like, "And I'm your mom. I'm supposed to have all these answers. I don't have any answers." And she sits down, and she's like, goes into her little quarantine staycation.
I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah. Well, my biggest excitement for this episode was to say, I guess it's something so small too, but I wanted to see what Darcy turned into.
I did too.
Because I think everybody was saying that she was going to be
her two broke girls character.
I would have loved it.
I would have loved it too. But instead, which makes sense, I feel like she is an escape artist.
Yeah.
Because she was already handcuffed to the vehicle when the hex expanded, and Vision goes to her for help. And I think Kat Dennings, as the Darcy character, does such a good job throughout all of her episodes with bouncing off of her characters, the other characters around her perfectly. I think she does such a great job where she feels like she can actually be an integral part of any team and group. It feels like she can
be paired with any other character.
Yeah, I think she's an excellent pairing. She's like sugar or something. I don't know. I'm thinking of a pairing, something that goes with everything. Salt
and pepper, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Sorry. So her and Vision, Paul Bettany and her, I think, play off each other really well. And Vision goes to her and kind of zaps her out of her, like her
He took way too
Wanda
long
consciousness.
to do that, though. Like, immediately he's, like, trying to appeal to her and being like, hey, right before the Hex took you, like, we made eye contact and stuff like that. But he knows the Hex took her, so he knows what happens to people in the Hex. I didn't understand why it took him so long to do his little to her, but it like took a couple scenes, and then finally he does it, and she's back to being herself. She's Darcy again, and they go on a little quest in like is it an ice cream truck?
It looks like an ice cream truck, but definitely like a factory-like truck to go towards the center of Westview to meet up with Wanda. However, for some reason they have a lot of blockades in the way, and I'm not sure if this is Wanda, kind of like giving them an extra like layer of walls before they get to her, or whether it might be somebody else.
Agnes, perhaps.
Perhaps methinks.
Well, I think it could be Agnes, but I think it also could be Wanda, because Wanda, it could be like a metaphor for Wanda putting up walls and trying to protect herself emotionally, right?
No, that makes sense.
And keeping Vision at bay, but it also could be Agnes. So,
well, and Darcy serves as the character who really tells Vision what's up. Because he reaches out to her to really find out what's going on, and he learns about his own past, his connection to Ultron,
he doesn't remember any of his history.
Jarvis, it's very interesting seeing him go through that, and then she also explains what went on with Wanda beforehand, so that he has a more contextualized understanding of what Wanda's going through, and I think that's probably going to make him a lot more empathetic towards her situation.
I think so. Well, Darcy basically explains that like Wanda saw Vision die twice, and she makes a comment that Vision and Wanda's love is just so real, and that they really do love each other. But I don't know. It's like a weird sort of like back on the fence thing for me, because
toxic relationship.
Because it is kind of a toxic relationship. Like Wanda is controlling Vision. She wants to control him, and she does let him kind of go out on his own, but even when he tries to go beyond the barrier, I mean, I guess she does know that he would probably not survive beyond the barrier. But still, you know, controlling your partner in a relationship is just not.
I'd do it. I'm sorry. But I would do it like if you had like if you were dead, I'd go totally create like a Westview to reanimate you.
We've been in quarantine and all that for stuff. The past 2 weeks, and now I'm wondering, was it COVID or was it Alistair's hex?
Perhaps.
It was Alistair all along.
I would do it. I'm not gonna lie, because I get that their relationship is a little toxic.
Yeah.
But I understand the toxicity. And I mean, everybody on Twitter and everything is like, "Hey, my toxic queen, you know, Wanda," and that everybody wants to enter Westview to get their minds like just erased, and so they can all just live in a sitcom.
Let's go into Monica a little bit.
Monica and Jimmy Woo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because so they've been hinting at this character that they've been meeting up with. You know, it's been a mystery character this entire time, and then we got a major from the Air Force, which is fine. But we didn't get anything from the major except for her providing a rover, like a Mars-type rover, for Monica to try to re-enter Westview. And I was actually pretty disappointed by that. Like, that this is the character that they've been alluding to for X amount of episodes, and this is all we get. So,
was this the character that they were alluding to, though?
I'm suspecting it was, because they said they needed somebody to help us re-enter Westview.
No, though, because Paul Bettany said that there was going to be a really big surprise guest, and it wasn't Evan Peters.
Yeah, it was Darcy.
No, that's not who Paul Bettany's talking about.
Well, she surprised me.
Okay. Well, yeah. So they basically send Monica in. They're going to send Monica into the Hex in an armored, like, space rover that's supposed to be able to like withstand going through the barrier, and I mean, she's all suited up and everything, and she starts to go through it, and it's like the density of the hex walls are now like so thick that it's matching like the force that the rover is trying to go into the hex with, and so it basically takes the rover and like it turns it like into a truck and like throws it and spits it out, and Monica like just barely like jumps out and gets away, and then she's like,
and then Monica decides to walk through it, and I'm like, really, Monica, like, think about your safety for a second.
Well, I mean, that's what I was thinking as she was going into the Mars rover, like she was trying to, is I was thinking, well, she's already been through it twice. I bet her just walking through without any sort of suit on would probably be a lot easier. And she does. And she goes up to it, and Jimmy's like, no, don't do it. And it reminded me very much of like Buffy season 5 finale, the gift, where Buffy's like, she looks over at the little portal that she's gonna go jump into and die in, and Dawn is like, Buffy, no, and Buffy's like, Donnie, I have to, and she's like, Jimmy, I have to,
Jimmy, I have to, and then she runs through, which I kept on thinking, why did you drop your helmet? I'm sorry, but I just kept on thinking that. I don't know,
but this was the final like go through, and now Monica Rambeau is Monica Rambeau.
Well, yes, she finally gets her powers. We see her blue eyes while she's breaking through, and we freak out about it, honestly. And then so it's taking Vision and Darcy forever to get to Wanda. But Monica just gets to her in a second.
Can somebody explain that? I think it's because there are specific barriers being put up in front of Vision and Darcy. It goes back to
that just connected in my mind.
Nobody expected Monica to be in there, so Monica doesn't have any barriers kind of blocking her from that. And yeah, no, I think it was Agnes that put up those barriers. I think so because then when she sees Monica, she pulls them. Okay, that makes sense.
Yes.
And so I have to say that when Monica goes into the Hex, and as she's going through the barrier, that is my favorite visual effects of the entire series so far. I was absolutely stunned by that, and her, and like the different decades of Monica, and then like as she like gets her blue eyes, and all of that looked so great.
It's her origin story.
Yeah, to the visual effects team, like y'all did a great freaking job.
And she and Wanda actually confront each other. She just barges into Wanda's house without knocking.
And Wanda's
like, I don't blame you, Wanda, for that. But like, Wanda's like, she does her.
She's like, out to the front yard.
She does her thing. She like pushes her outside of the house in front of everybody and Dottie. I thought we were gonna get a lot more Dottie. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
just
just
Dottie.
pausing in the
Dottie
between
going, like-
just because we saw Dottie, and I'm like, really? I wanted a lot more Dottie. But anyways,
On Twitter, Emma Caulfield says, "Where's Dottie at Marvel?" And if that was the Dottie appearance, and that's what we're getting, save the tweet.
tweet. That's what I mean. But
Leave it in the drafts.
anyways, then Monica's like, I don't know, I'm gonna use my powers, and she just like gravitates towards the ground.
She does the
and
superhero
superhero pose.
Yeah,
that's
that
bad
has
for your
been
knees.
Scientifically been proven too. Like it will.
It's really bad for your
knees up.
knees.
It
It's
will,
actually really
yeah.
bad. They need a new one.
But there's this moment where they are standing, and Wanda realizes that Monica Rambeau is now like a match, an opponent
that's not gonna leave.
and it's not gonna leave, and it'd have to be a duel because she can't just anymore. But instead of it turning into like a chick fight, it turns into like Monica calms the situation down, and Monica's like, "Listen, you're not like Hayward. Don't be the villain like he wants you to be. He's ready to burn this place to the ground." And Wanda's like, "Well,
maybe I am the
maybe
villain."
I am the villain." And Monica really does have like tries to have a real heart to heart.
She tries to break through,
and she does start to, and it's like this bringing down of these walls moment. They're having like this heart to heart, and there's even like a male guy delivering packages that say fragile on the package.
I saw that too.
I thought that was so funny and on the nose. And it's a nice moment, and Agnes, living in the Bewitched house, looks out the window and sees what's going on and rushes out there, grabs Wanda, and takes her away.
And saves her from being saved.
Yeah, because Agnes is not who she says she is.
Yes, because she comes in, she's like, "Where are the twins?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, where are the twins?"
Well, Wanda says, "Where are the twins?"
Well, Wanda says, "Where are the twins?" And so, like, I'm really hoping that they didn't do this, but also I'm not sure, because I know in the comics for a period of time when Wanda doesn't think about the kids, isn't specifically thinking about the kids, they disappear. But here she is specifically thinking about the kids, so I don't think that they're going with that storyline.
No, I don't think so at all. So Wanda basically goes into Agnes's house, and she starts looking around, and she sees like the sandwiches and like cartoons, so the kids were there, and she says, "Where are the kids?" And Agnes says that maybe they're playing in the basement, so Wanda goes down into the basement, and Agnes has this whole layer down in the basement. It's this whole big like witchy layer, and finally Agnes reveals herself to be Agatha Harkness. She is a witch. Earlier in the episode, she kept talking about a mole, and they were really like, all the writing in this is very pointed. They don't waste like a line of dialogue. And the mole, back in the old days, that's how they checked for witches, is a mole. They looked for a mole.
Like, do you want to see my mole? Plus, it has a double meaning, because a mole is also somebody who has infiltrated an area. So a mole and a mole. What?
And then there's this montage.
I loved
all
it.
of the scenes that, and it's like its own little like TV show opening, and it's like it was Agatha all along, and it shows the different moments that Agatha was like manipulating in this world. So we think that Wanda was manipulating all of these things all this time, and she wasn't manipulating everything. Agatha was manipulating a lot of this stuff.
Well, everybody thought it was Mephisto, and I say everybody, including myself in that. Everybody thought it was like Mephisto or Nightmare, but really it's Agatha. And I don't think people gave her enough credit for her just being herself doing it.
Yeah, and I don't know if she is doing it by herself, though. I'm not going to give her that credit yet. I think
she definitely did everything in there. But I mean, she might be working with somebody, but everything within the hex, she's shown that she did herself. You know,
I think she might be
the
working
Pietro,
with I don't know.
everything like that. I mean,
was that confirmed that she did Pietro?
Yes, because
it showed that little scene.
He had the stuff on his back.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, the green on his back.
So question: it wasn't in the montage, but did she do the twins too? And did she just take the twins away?
I don't think so.
Why?
Because Wanda did the twins.
How do we know Agatha didn't just make Wanda pregnant with the twins? Give her the twins.
Agatha did not impregnate Wanda. It just doesn't make sense.
Agatha could have created these twins.
Narratively, it doesn't make sense.
And she takes the twins away. I don't know. Okay, so let's go into the Nexus really fast. It connects with that.
1 second before we move on to that, I do want to say that the intro for Agatha it was Agatha all along was a really cool callback to the Addams Family
and like the Munsters and,
and the Munsters and
yeah,
stuff like that. I loved it. I love the creepy dun 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 dun, dun, feel to it. And honestly, I would love a Disney Plus, Agatha.
Oh gosh, I know I'm okay.
Thing.
With it.
I,
with it.
I would love it. I would love it.
I do. I freaking love Agatha as this witch. But her whole montage. It was Agatha all along. It was Agatha all along. And then by the end of last line of the episode, Agatha looks to the camera and she says, "And I killed Sparky too." I'm like, no.
Oh yeah.
No.
I was like, if anything is gonna make Zach really hate this character.
If there's anything that's gonna, I love a villain. But if there's anything that's gonna make me hate a character, it is the murder of a harmless puppy. And I'm on the phone with John Wick. I'm ready to get him over here and and hunting Agatha. And so it's a bonkers freaking way to end. And then the episode ended, and I was just,
it was
like crazy.
I wanted to curse.
Yeah, let's so the Nexus. Okay, so the Nexus. I had to look up what the Nexus was because I remember the Nexus in like Charmed, but the Nexus in and I have a quote here too. The Nexus in the Marvel Universe is a cross-dimensional gateway which provides a pathway to any and all possible realities. This includes realities between realities. So I think that if Agatha didn't create these twins, Agatha definitely pushed the twins through the Nexus, or maybe Billy took himself and his brother through the Nexus or something like that. But I think the twins went through the Nexus. They're in some sort of other reality. I think this is going to connect to Doctor Strange. Wanda's going to like tear open the multiverse because we've been talking about how Wanda's probably going to rip the multiverse into whatever, into shreds, and that was going to be Doctor Strange. And so I think Wanda's going to go on a journey, on a hunt for her kids.
What's ironic, because we're towards the end of this episode. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're at the end of this episode. Yeah. Right now we're kind of theorizing. But I just finished the 7th season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is canonically within the Marvel Universe. And you know what's really funny? The 7th season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is very much like WandaVision in terms of like the time skipping and all that, and really exploring the multiverse theory. So I just find it all fascinating. Yeah. And I know in the last episode we really wanted Monica to get her powers. We wanted something from Agatha. I think that this episode is satisfied. I think that this episode is satisfied in a lot of ways to give us what we want, but it was also like not enough. And what I want now is a big all-out fight.
Well, so we have Monica Rambeau has her powers. We have Wanda. We have, who else is in here? We have Agatha. So there is going to be something. There's going to be some sort of big battle that we're leading up to. And I'm hoping we're kind of through with the sitcom stuff. I'm ready to leave the sitcom stuff behind and get into just the story, just the storyline. I get that the sitcom stuff plays into it and everything, and it was a great tool, but we've come to date with the sitcom stuff, right? So like it's we don't have anywhere else to go with that. It's just the last we saw of Wanda in this episode is she's got this like purple stuff in her eyes and like around her head and stuff like that, and Agatha's there and like revealed as the big bad, and so let's go from there. Let's figure this out. I think all of Westview is about to be just ripped open, and I think we're going to get some great visual stuff here.
Well, we do get some preludes to this in some of the trailers where we have Wanda talking to Vision, being like, "We need to protect, our area," and they're going into a sort of battle between her and whatever other entity. And I'm not sure if that other entity is Agnes. I'm not sure if that other I'm not sure if that other entity is Hayward, or maybe some combination of those two, or maybe there's a third person.
I do think there's a third. I think we're setting up. I think we're seeing I think maybe Agatha will be a little bit of like, not a lackey, but I think she's going to be somebody's like right hand woman.
I think Agatha's her own woman.
She is her own woman, but I think we've got a bigger bad here.
Yes, but where's Ralph?
He's wrecking it.
Oh my gosh, what if it is? That would be the weirdest.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Well, I mean, he's a Disney person.
Princess.
He's a Disney character. That'd be so weird.
It's not gonna happen.
Don't do it.
It's not gonna be right. All right. Well, here that brings us to the end of the episode. What do you guys think? What do you think about this episode? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What are your theories? What all that stuff. We are so excited. We got 2 more episodes, 8 and 9. I'm super excited to get to the end of this and super stoked, with how it's going.
Yes. Please leave comments. Let's talk about this below. Like, subscribe, and ding that bell if you will.
And eat tacos.
And we will catch you next episode. Adios, gentle viewers.
So apparently there is a mid-credits scene, so make sure y'all watch that if you missed it like we did.
Yes, Monica Rambeau and the imposter, Evan Peters.
Monica Rambeau is like snooping around Agatha's house, and she opens the cellar doors, and Evan Peters appears behind her and says, "Hey, Snooper's gonna snoop." And is Evan Peters and Agatha like lackey, like a little guard dog, or is he there to help Monica? I don't know. We don't know.
I don't think he's there to help Monica. And we see all the Agatha power stuff from the basement. So I'm curious about whether they're gonna start out the next episode like this.
Probably. So I don't know why they didn't just include it in the episode. I don't know. Don't do this. Don't do this, Marvel. Don't do this. No credit scenes. How many have we missed?
Are there more?